Be strong, be very courageous. Not because the heart feels none of fear, but because the Lord of covenant has promised to be near. There are words that hold a people when the leader's voice is gone. Words that steady trembling feet when a new day must go on. Joshua heard them at the threshold, strong enough to carry years. Keep the book upon your lips, let obedience rule your fears. Meditate by day and night, do not turn from right or left, for the path of holy courage is the path the faithful tread. This was not a call to bravado, not a loud and shallow steel, but to strength born out of covenant, to courage taught to kneel. Yeshua, teach us such a bravery in this collapsing age, a courage that loves your teaching more than platform, prize, or stage. Make us brave in holy obedience, make us bold in quiet trust. Let our courage smell like worship, not the arrogance of dust. Be strong, be very courageous. The Lord is with His own. Yeshua, faithful Joshua, lead us ever on. Be strong, be very courageous. Keep the word in sight, God of promise, God of presence. Lead us in the fight. Some must face the giant memory, some must face the city gate, some must bear the future burden, some must simply learn to wait. Yet the same command keeps sounding through the generations clear. Strength belongs to those who tremble and still obey in fear. Not every battle ends in shouting, some in steady daily ground, where the saint keeps truth before him and refuses compromise. Let the pastors lead with soberness, let the fathers keep the law, let the mothers teach endurance and the children holy awe. For a people taught by courage, rooted in Messiah's grace, will not easily be moved when darkness shows its face. Courage is not noise. Courage is covenant memory in motion. Courage is obedience with tears still in the eyes. Be strong, be very courageous. Whoa! The Lord is with His own. The Lord is with His own. to prayer. Be strong, be very courageous, for the Lord is there. The future does not belong to the loudest. It belongs to the people who keep the word and follow God.
In the field before the city, a man stood clothed in holy flame, sword drawn, heaven near. And Joshua learned the fear of name. Before Jericho was broken, before the shout was released, Joshua lifted eyes and saw the captain of the heavenly hosts. Not a servant of man's ambition, not a mascot for the fight, but the Lord of armies calling him to holy ground and light. Remove the sandals from your feet was the first prophetic word, teaching that true conquest begins where reverence is heard. The battle was not Israel's vanity, nor the swelling of a tribe. It was the will of God unfolding where flesh had to die. So Joshua bowed in wonder, and the warrior learned again that the captain rules the conquest, not the confidence of men. Holy fear before the battle, holy awe before the sound. If we lose the face of heaven, we will only circle ground. Drawn sword, stand before us now. Yeshua, Lord of heaven's armies, teach our hearts to bow. Captain with the drawn sword, lead the holy way. God of battle, God of worship, guide us as we pray. There are battles won in posture before they ever bloom in noise. One when priests and leaders tremble and reject the flesh's voice. There are wars that cannot be trusted to the heat of wounded pride, only to the saints who know how to kneel before they rise. You are still the captain over every siege and Not every battle is holy because it is loud. Not every cause is yours because it is urgent. But when the captain speaks, the ground itself becomes sacred.
Captain with the drawn sword, stand before us now.
Yeshua,
Lord of heaven's army,
teach our hearts to bow.
Captain with the drawn sword,
Lead the holy way. God of battle, God of worship, guide us as we pray.
Captain with the drawn sword,
Keep us clean before the fight. Keep our motives under heaven. Keep our worship in the light. King Messiah, go before us. Let our feet be stripped of pride. Captain with the drawn sword, lead us on tonight. The first victory is not over the city. The first victory is over the proud heart. After the crossing came the circle. After the river came the stone. Gilgal became a place of memory, where the people learned they were not alone. At Gilgal the reproach was rolled away. The old shame lost its claim. There the people camped in promise and remembered why they came. Stones from Jordan stood together, witnesses beneath the sky, saying, "This is where the Lord brought us. This is where the old must die." Circumcision, Passover, manna ceasing in the land, all the signs of transition resting in the Father's hand. Gilgal was not just geography, but a school of holy thought, teaching that inheritance requires the memory of what God wrought. Yeshua, bring your church to Gilgal, where reproach is rolled away, where old slavery loses language and a new heart learns to stay. Make remembrance more than story, make transition more than change. Let the place where shame is lifted become holy in your name. Gilgal of remembrance, circle of the Yeshua, roll away reproach now, keep us by your word. Gilgal of remembrance, mark the crossing plain. God of covenant and mercy, make us new again. Some cannot step into promise because they still wear Egypt's sound, still drag the old humiliation like chains across the ground. But you have places of renewal, places where old names are shed, where the sons of wilderness learn to lift a different head. Not by pretending pain did not exist, nor by forgetting tears, but by letting covenant mercy reinterpret all the years. Gilgal says the past is not the master of the people you redeem, and the stone of witness glimmers where shame used to reign supreme. So gather us in circles, Lord, where memory and healing meet, and teach the church to celebrate the places you make clean. There are places in God where the old accusation loses its legal right. Gilgal is the mercy of God placed in the path of a people. Gilgal of remembrance, circle of the Lord. Yeshua, roll away reproach now, keep us by your word. Gilgal of remembrance, mark the crossing plain. God of covenant and mercy, make us new again. Gilgal of remembrance, for the wounded and the weak, for the home still carrying Egypt, for the ones too tired to speak. King Messiah, bring us healing, bring us holy joy again. Gilgal of remembrance, make us new again. The place of rolled away shame is not small. It is the doorway to inheritance. Land is not taken first by appetite, but by a people who know how to bow. Inheritance is born in worship, long before possession is seen now. You did not give the land to a nation swollen with its worth, but to a covenant people who learned your fear on earth. The inheritance was promised, but the pathway still required consecration, courage, worship, and a heart set all on fire. Not every hill was easy, not every giant small, yet the tribes that held your word could watch the strongholds fall. For worship was not separate from the taking of the ground. It was the breath that kept the people rightly aligned. And still the church must learn it. The territory of the soul is not received by noise of flesh, but by hearts under control. Yeshua, you are our inheritance before the field is won. And when the worship stays pure, the conquest has begun. Teach us how to prize your presence more than vineyards, gates, or grain. Let the giver be our portion till the promise bears your name. Inheritance by worship, take the ground in praise. Yeshua, be our portion all our nights and days. Inheritance by worship, keep the altar near. God of promise, God of battle, teach us holy fear. Some inherit pain from fathers, some inherit fear and blame, some inherit barren habits that have long resisted change. Yet the Lord can reassign borders when the saints return to song, and the fields of desolation can learn where they belong. Let the worship of the faithful reach the gate and city line. Let it cleanse the family language. Let it draw the boundary bright. For the Lord appoints inheritance, and the Lord can drive away the old occupiers of the heart that never chose to pray. So we gather in live worship, not as singers only, Lord, but as sons receiving promise through the power of your word. If Christ is not the portion, the field will never satisfy. But when Christ is the inheritance, even the battle becomes worship. Inheritance by worship, take the ground in praise. Yeshua, be our portion all our nights and days. Inheritance by worship, keep the altar near. God of promise, God of battle, teach us holy fear. Inheritance by worship, for the home and for the land, for the future of our children, for the work of every hand. King Messiah, mark our borders, keep our worship fierce and clear. Inheritance by worship, teach us holy fear. The land is safest in the hands of worshipers. That is the wisdom of God. At the edge of flood and promise, at the line we could not cross, you were already in the waters, turning fear to holy trust.
Jordan was not small or quiet when the priests approached the stream. It was swollen in its season, strong enough to break a dream. Yet the ark of holy presence moved before the waiting tribes, and the feet of those who bore it touched the flood and split the tide. 12 stones would mark the crossing, 12 would rest beneath the flow, teaching sons yet still unborn what the mighty Lord can do. Not because the people mastered every terror in their sight, but because the God of promise made the waters stand upright. Yeshua, you still lead us where the river runs too deep, and the things we could not conquer bow when you go in before our feet. Let the priest step first in faith now. Let the people see and know where the presence enters boldly. The impossible, let's go. Jordan, open before us. Make a way again. Yeshua, ark of mercy, lead your people in. Jordan, Jordan, open before us. Let the promise stand. God of crossing, God of covenant, bring us through this land. Some are standing before rivers of transition and of pain, some before a flooded future they cannot explain. Some have carried old memorials from the years behind the sand. Now they need the grace to step into the place of promised land. You are still the God of crossing, still the God who calls by name, still the one who honors holy steps of faith made in your flame. And when our children ask the story, may the stones of witness say that the Lord went first in power and made a road where none could stay. Not one tribe crossed by accident, not one heart beyond your sight. For the river yields in worship when the presence takes the lead. The river is loud, but the covenant is louder. The flood is real, but the presence is nearer. Take one consecrated step and watch what the Lord remembers. Jordan, open before us. Make a way again. Yeshua, ark of mercy, lead your people in. Lead your people in. Oh, Jordan, open before us. Let the promise stand. God of crossing, God of covenant, bring us through
humble who still seek King Messiah. Go before us. Let the waters know your hand. Jordan open before us. Bring us through this land. Every crossing teaches a people how to remember. Every stone in the river knows his name. At the edge of flood and promise, at the line we could not cross.
Not every weapon shouts at first. Not every victory begins with noise. Sometimes the Lord trains the people to conquer with obedient poise. For 6 long days around the city, Israel moved without a cry. Priests before the ark and trumpets, all beneath the watching sky. No taunt from the wall could provoke them, no mockery pull them wide, because the word of God had fixed their feet and stilled their pride. Silence in the march was worship, discipline beneath command, teaching every restless spirit how to move at God's demand. The conquest was not fed by frenzy, not by speech without his voice, but by the patient fear of heaven that makes obedience rejoice. Yeshua, train your church to follow when the world demands reply, to circle what seems impossible until the appointed cry. Teach us silence full of courage. Teach us waiting full of fire. Teach us not to waste the moment with the noise of our desire. March around in silence. Hold the promise near. Yeshua, teach us holy patience, stronger than
Some walls do not fall on day one. Some strongholds mock for years. Some households keep old patterns. Some cities drip with tears. But the saints are not defeated when they obey and wait, for the circling of true worship is already shaking gates. There is power in restrained tongues when the Lord has not yet spoken. Power in the ordered people who refuse to move half broken. And when the seventh day is ready and the circuit is complete, the silence that was offered becomes thunder at your feet. So keep us from exhausted striving, keep us from self-made display. Let the church learn Jericho again in this hour and day. Silence can be warfare. Waiting can be worship. Obedience can be louder than the pride of nations.
March around in silence.
Hold the promise near. Oh, Yeshua, teach us holy patience. Stronger than our fear. March around in silence till the trumpet says to sing. God of timing, God of battle, we will trust our King. March around in silence for the city and the whole.
For the siege against our children.
For the places not yet whole.
For the places
Not yet whole. King Messiah, keep us steady till the hour your victory springs. March around in silence. We will trust our King. The silence was never empty. It was filled with a listening people. There was mercy in the city before the city ever fell.
A scarlet line in a darkened window was already telling the tale. In the house upon the wall, where fear and rumor used to live, a woman heard the fame of God and chose at last to believe. She hid the spies with trembling courage, asked for mercy in the day when judgment would descend on stone and human pride give way. And the sign was scarlet at the window, hanging where the eye could see, a thread of hope against the ruin, a mark of covenant mercy. Not by birth was she included, not by history or land, but by faith that turned toward heaven and received the saving hand. Yeshua, in every city still there shines that scarlet grace, for the blood upon the window makes a refuge in the place. Mercy, mercy reaches through the judgment. Grace can find the farthest room. In the city marked forsaken, faith can still begin to bloom. Rahab's scarlet window, mercy in the wall. Yeshua, blood of covenant, still you save the small. Rahab's scarlet window, lift hope over fear. God of judgment, God of mercy, you still draw near. There are homes inside the stronghold that the Lord has marked for life. Homes where hidden faith is growing in the middle of the night. There are voices history counted unclean, forgotten, far, yet your mercy writes new lineage where the humble hearts are. For the scarlet sign still preaches that no sinner is too late, that the faith which clings to promise can outlive the city's fate, and the one once called outsider can become a branch of praise, folded into royal story by the mercy of your ways. So let the church proclaim it boldly in the siege of latter days, that the blood of Christ still gathers all who turn and seek His face. Judgment is real, but mercy looks for the open window. Grace still hangs a scarlet sign in the places least expected. Rahab's scarlet window, mercy in the wall. Yeshua, blood of covenant, still you save the small. Rahab's scarlet window, lift hope over fear. God of judgment, God of mercy, you still draw near. Rahab's scarlet window, for the outcast and ashamed, for the one who hears your story and believes upon your name. King Messiah, keep proclaiming that your blood can rescue all. Rahab's scarlet window,
mercy had already made a door. That is the way of God. There was mercy in the city before the city ever fell. A scarlet line in a darkened window was already telling the tale. In the house upon the wall, where fear and rumor gather the tribes of Shechem. Call the elders, call the heads. Let the covenant be spoken over the living and the dead. At Shechem, Joshua gathered all the tribes before the Lord, retelling all the acts of mercy, all the faithfulness restored. From beyond the river's fathers to the Exodus and land, he placed the whole remembered story in the hearing of the can. Then came the call that echoes still through every household line. Choose this day whom you will serve, but as for me and mine, we will serve the Lord of covenants, the God who brought us through, the God who kept his oath in mercy, and whose every word is true. There was no room for divided hearts, no room for double speech, for the holy God was speaking, and his claim was within reach. Gather us in truth and trembling, gather us in holy fire. Let the covenant be answered by a consecrated choir. Assembly, hear the people say, Yeshua, Lord of all our houses, we will walk your way. Shechem Covenant Assembly, set the witness plain. God of memory, God of choosing, let us serve your name. Some have hidden gods of comfort, Some have buried idols deep. Some have taught their sons religion while their inward loves still sleep. But the call at Shechem presses through performance and disguise, asking who will truly fear the Lord with undivided eyes. And Messiah is the answer, for the covenant finds breath, not in human grit alone, but in the one who conquered death. He can cleanse the hidden altar, he can pull the idols down, he can make a house say yes where compromise has worn a crown. So let fathers speak it boldly, let the mothers guard the flame, let the children hear the witness. We will serve the Lord by name. A house will serve something. A generation will bow somewhere. Blessed is the people whose answer has already been settled. Shechem
Covenant assembly, hear the people say, Yeshua, Lord of all our houses, we will walk the way.
Shechem Covenant assembly, set the witness plain. God of memory, God of choosing, let us serve your name. Shechem Covenant assembly, for the elders and the youth, for the city and the household, for the gate that needs the truth. King Messiah, claim our families, keep our witness free from shame. Shechem Covenant assembly, we will serve your name. A people is renewed when its houses answer God. Gather the tribes at Shechem, call the elders, call the heads. Let the covenant be spoken over the living and the dead. At
Here comes Joshua, gathered all the tribes before the Lord, returning all the acts of mercy, all the
Before the stone gives way, before the trumpet cries, we stand in holy silence with our lifted eyes. Not by sword alone, not by the strength of man, but by the voice of Adonai, the victory will stand. We have walked through years of wilderness, through memory and sand. Now we stand at Jordan's threshold with your promise in our hands. Yet Jericho is staring with its towers in the sun, and every heart can feel the weight of battles not yet won. Still you never told your people to boast in human power. You taught us to move in order and trust your chosen hour. The ark would go before us, the priest would lead the sound, and all the fear of nations would tremble in the ground. Yeshua, greater Joshua, you teach us still today that worship is not weakness when you have made the way. Teach us how to wait in courage. Teach us how to move in peace. Teach us how to stand in worship till the walls of darkness cease. Shout, shout before the walls, oh people. Lift the holy sound. Yeshua goes before the battle, and his word shakes the ground. Shout before the walls, oh people. Let the trumpets ring. God of covenant and power, we will trust our King. There are walls around our families. There are walls around the land, walls of fear and old rebellion that no flesh can understand. There are cities in the spirit that have mocked your holy name, but the worship of the faithful still can set them all aflame. You are not a God of empty noise, nor songs detached from truth. You are the God who joins obedience with the shout of living faith. So we march in consecration, not in pride nor reckless breath, for the battle that you order always crushes fear and death. The same Lord who shook old Jericho still moves when saints agree, and the shout that rose in worship still can call the captives free. There are walls that logic cannot move. There are chains that strategy cannot break. But when the presence leads the people, worship becomes a weapon in the hand of God. Lift the holy sound. Yeshua goes before the battle, and his word shakes the ground. Shout before the walls, oh people. Let the trumpets ring. God of covenant secure. The wall falls twice, first in heaven, then in history. Blessed are the people who know when to shout. Gives way before the trumpet cries. We stand in holy silence with our lifted eyes, not by sword alone, not by the strength of men, but by
There are days when battle lengthens and the light seems almost spent. Yet the God who made the heavens can still answer covenant. When the kings rose up together and the fight extended far, Joshua cried to heaven under the witness of the stars. And the sun stood still in wonder, and the moon delayed its course. For the Lord fought for his people with unborrowed force. This was no display of ego, no magician's reckless sign, but the mercy of the covenant, holding time itself in line. For the God who swore inheritance would not let darkness steal what his hand had marked in promise and his mouth had sealed. Yeshua, there are seasons when the battle outlasts our frame. Stretch the light upon your people till the victory bears your name. Lengthen light where strength is fading, oh, the day where hope grows dim. Let the heavens serve the promise till your purpose enters in.
still.